Hello and welcome everybody to Nerdstalgia Live. I am your host alongside this fantastic trio, the Tree Musketeers, Donnelly, Dan, and Richie.
Oh yeah, bub.
Oh yeah.
How you doing, man?
How are you now?
Oh, not so bad.
Not so bad.
Good, and you? Gonna crack a fresh one, and I want to for those of you who have not acknowledged him yet, let's all just take a moment to acknowledge our tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and his successful title defense last night at WrestleMania Night 2. You are acknowledged, sir. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Speaking of acknowledging, I want to acknowledge the shirt that Rich is wearing. What does that say?
Blondie.
What's it say under it? What is it?
This is
The
one
band
way or
Blondie?
another.
Ah, okay. That makes that no one fell asleep to. Yeah. Well, I also want to go ahead and acknowledge our chat. Thank you. We've got some people filtering in here. Techie, what's up, man? Bagel, Tara, Spoon Guy, Christy. Thank you guys for joining us. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. There is a lot of news in the nerd realm. Are we ready?
It really has.
Oh, I'm ready. There's been a lot going on.
There's been a lot going on.
Yeah.
It's like every time you pick up your phone, you're like, oh my God.
Right?
It's been really good. Yeah. It's been really cool to see a lot of stuff hitting and different things too, like kind of different, bits here and there. So yeah.
It's a hell of a time to be a nerd. What's up, Sherry? Thanks for joining. How was everybody's week? Week?
Yeah, I mean, my week was good. Weekend was great. WrestleMania happened. I've got to say though that some of the April Fool's things out there were pretty good. I didn't know what news to believe and what not to believe as news was breaking across this weekend because I feel like things were set up ahead of time, maybe a little too much, And then the news, obviously, there was the WWE prank that happened, and then the news that happened today. So it was really quite a wild ride with April Fool's happening too.
Oh yeah. That's the problem with April Fool's. It's getting carried away now that you can't keep track.
You expect it too.
I love that.
I'm going to turn all my notifications off for one entire day because it's all going to be BS and it's all going to get me excited and I'm going to be mad when it's not true.
One thing I thought for sure was an April Fool's joke, and I guess the joke's on me because it's not this.
Look at that mustache.
I mean,
look at that caterpillar.
Vince McMahon, I mean, here's the deal. The guy can do no wrong even when he does, and he does some horrible things. But like this, I feel like is wrong in so many ways.
I don't know what he's doing. He's embraced the gray for so long. Why is it time to go back now? I don't understand what's happening.
He's been gray for like 30 years, first of all. And
it's not even the gray, it's that
caterpillar.
And
it's
not
more the
even
mustache for me. I don't care about the hair color. I don't know what that
even,
monarch butterfly in waiting is going to do.
It's not even an even mustache. Like he didn't even shave it right.
No, he's like,
oh man. And this is like
no regrets. I'm Vince McMahon. Let's go.
And this was like a knowing, like he knew what he was doing when he had this look because he literally. So they just for those of you who don't follow the wrestling world, WWE is just been announced as being sold to the UFC parent company. So UFC and WWE are basically going to be joining forces under the same parent company, and he knew he was going to be on TV interviewing, talking about this, and he has been all day today. And he's
going to bust out my new persona.
Like Price.
Yeah,
he does look like Vincent Price.
He really does. Comparison.
Yeah, he definitely does. He definitely is a porn star stash, no question about it. No regrets. Just for men gone wrong.
I think he just looks in the mirror. He's like, people are going to be watching me today. I'm going to try this out. We'll see how it goes.
He just doesn't care because at the end of the day, he's jumping into his giant money bin and doing backstrokes like Scrooge McDuck.
Well, this is the crazy thing, right? So he bought the WWE back in 1982. Yeah, bought it in 1982 for $1 million.
I want $1 million. And
you know what they sold it for? $9.3 billion
Mhm.
today.
Not bad.
Today.
and
That's insane. And that's
It was
after
a
the
bad
damage.
return on your investment.
That's
Yeah,
after the damage.
Yes, and it was estimated that the company's valuation was $6 billion.
Wow.
So he got an extra $3.3 billion. I mean, he was in an interview with the guy who bought it today, and the interviewer was basically laughing at the guy who paid $9.3 billion for it. And Vince just straight said in the interview, like, yeah, we wanted to squeeze all the value we could out of this market right in front of him. It's like, with that mustache.
He's like, why don't you get one of those checks there? Right. I'm going to tell you a number. You're going to write it down and sign that check. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, I love
I
it.
wish I had that kind of return on my Dogecoin.
Yeah, right.
Did you buy Doge?
A couple 2-3.
Fun fact, I bought Doge at 0.028 per share, sold it at 0.75 the same night, and then I never touched crypto again after that because I had no idea.
What a rush.
Well played.
But yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I mean, aside from WrestleMania weekend, I am slowly getting back into wrestling. I'm not gonna lie.
How was it? How was, because Tim, you and I used to talk wrestling all the time, and I've kind of same. You know, I've kind of fallen away from it the past couple of years. I did not watch WrestleMania, so what's the product looking like these days?
I'm not gonna lie, I absolutely loved it. Donnelly's nodding. What were your thoughts?
Oh, I thought it was fantastic. I, like you, had fallen off and hadn't been watching it. My wife has been getting back into it more recently than I have. And I decided to sit down and watch WrestleMania this weekend for sure. And I
Why
don't
didn't you stand and watch it?
Stand and watch it? My legs get tired.
Stand up and watch it?
No, my legs get tired.
Okay.
Come on. But I thought it was fantastic.
Here. I'm not about to stand.
There was so many edge of my seat moments. There was a lot of, things that I felt like were throwbacks to the old days, and a lot of homages, and really, really well done. A lot of great execution was happening out in that ring, and it was impressive to see. Again,
having not seen it and not watched wrestling in a little while, I am a little off put by the fact that Roman Reigns still has the strap.
Me too.
Are you though?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a fan when they were pushing him, 4 or 5 years ago.
Rich.
His best days were when he was with the Shield.
Oh, no. Rich, we're gonna need to continue this conversation at another time, because knowing what type of wrestling fan you were and what you grew up with, Roman Reigns in his current gimmick as the head of the table, tribal chief, is literally his best work, and it's one of the greatest stories the WWE has ever told, in history. That's coming from me.
That is bold. Yeah.
Yeah. It is one of the greatest storylines I have ever seen them do, ever.
I will give you the benefit of the doubt on that.
And Roman Reigns is at his best and might be the best wrestler on the planet right now in all facets. His entrance, his look, him on the mic. He is not the Roman Reigns that we saw before. He's a totally different person now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I remember Roman Reigns as only having like 3 moves: Superman punch, spear, and like body slam.
No, we'll brush you up,
okay?
Because I have a feeling you will absolutely love this Roman Reigns, and I got to be honest. I love that he still has the belt, because what they're doing is they're making the titles more meaningful now. Before, and I know this is not a show about wrestling, but like, let me just finish this thought, and we'll move into the meat and potatoes. But what they're doing is, like, before, what you would see is like every pay-per-view, the title would change hands. Then it would change hands on a Raw. Then someone would have it for 2 months, and it would change hands again. It's like it was passed around so much that it devalued it, and the whole meaning of being the champion and holding that belt really became meaningless.
And it like the 24/7 championship belt.
Oh God, thank God they got rid of that.
What's the point of having somebody who could lose it at drop of a hat at any time?
Yeah, it just I don't know. Now what they're doing is they've gotten back, and probably thanks to Triple H, they've gotten back to these long, drawn out stories now, where they build and they build and they build, and it takes months and months. And this storyline's been building for like 2 years. and we've just been getting the payoff the last couple of months, and it is masterful. And Rich, I know you're a Paul Heyman guy. Paul Heyman's his manager, and it is phenomenal. He's also doing some of his best work.
He is doing, yes.
Well, I mean, he is always entertaining. I mean, I will never tire of Paul Heyman. So
yeah, I would just watch it.
I'll check it out. I will.
Yeah, check it out.
At least watch the match from last night and see Roman Reigns there.
Yep.
If that doesn't change your opinion on Roman Reigns, then you're not going to have a change of heart. It's not going to happen. That was a fantastic match for him.
That's fair. I will keep an open mind.
I guarantee you'll see what I mean, because I felt the same way about Roman Reigns when they were pushing him on us. It just wasn't. I wasn't into it. But that being said, overall WrestleMania, I rated an 8.8. That's what I'm rating it. Wow. Very solid.
Pretty good.
Yeah, night 2 was spectacular. I mean, we got Brood Edge back, for God's sakes. Brood Edge came up out of the stage with the flames around him. Okay,
what a so good.
Yeah,
dude, his entrance.
What an edgelord name.
It was so good. It was so good. I highly recommend you go back and watch it. There were some of the women's matches were like, top notch. I mean, the Charlotte and Rhea Ripley match was amazing, like 5-star match, unbelievable. Even the man, I knew I was going to forget her name, Bianca Belair and Asuka match was pretty good.
Fresh Princess of Bel-Air.
Yep. Finn Balor took a ladder to the head, split his head wide open, had to get stitches and staples on the side of the ring during the match.
That's
right now.
McMahon returned, tore his quadriceps muscle in the middle of the ring, and then Snoop Dogg had to improvise.
He had to get his blunts out of his pocket and smoke him up on the so he wouldn't feel the pain so they could operate. It was insane.
Snoop literally started wrestling because Shane tore his quad. Yeah. Within 10 seconds of being in the ring, he tore his quad.
So good. Complete improv from Snoop. Like, so much additional respect has been given to Snoop after that performance.
100%.
So good.
He got clotheslined. It broke every blunt in his pocket. He got so mad. He entered a state of Hulkamania like I had never seen before.
He has somebody rolling his blunts for him backstage, though.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, they're already working on a new set by the time he goes down once.
I love that at the Super Bowl halftime show, which, by the way, best halftime show ever. Can we all agree with that? It was. Oh, come on. Are you serious?
That's nothing. What?
You didn't like that show?
It was a cool spectacle.
With Dre and Eminem and Snoop and.
I thought you meant the most recent one.
No. God, are you kidding me? Rihanna?
I thought you said the last one, which is the Rihanna.
I might have. I probably did. But I meant the one with Snoop and Eminem and Dre. And
that one was amazing. Yes.
Yeah. 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah, that one's amazing. Yeah.
But there were photos surfacing just maybe like a month ago of like Snoop. They showed Snoop crouched down with lighting a blunt on the top of that building of the set.
Yeah, I remember.
People were like, "Can you believe it?"
I'd be mad if he wasn't.
Can I believe it?
Yeah, he's contractually obligated.
Clearly, they haven't been paying attention since the early '90s.
They know who they signed, like whatever.
Yeah, but we got something else yesterday too. Was it yesterday? We got the Secret Invasion trailer.
It was last night, I thought.
Marvel Studios' Secret Invasion, starring Nick Fury, set to release on June 21st. It's a Disney Plus exclusive series coming at the end of June. What are your thoughts? What were your initial thoughts on that trailer?
Looks really cool. I'm glad we're back to Nick Fury. I'm glad to see we're hopefully going to hear more about what's been going on in the missing time. Not the year, of course, that he was not there, but for the 1 year he was off world, like what's been going on there. Like, yeah, really interested.
Yep. Rich.
So I thought it looked good. I think I wanted to see a little bit more from the trailer. I have a lot of questions.
Well, that's why it's a teaser.
Well,
you were very
fair enough. I mean, Secret Invasion was a huge storyline in the comics.
That was the Secret Wars, right? Or is that something different? Because I know the Secret
Wars. That was something a little different.
It was? Okay.
Yeah. So Secret Invasion, big storyline in the comics. And I'm a little concerned how and if they're going to be able to pull it off on a TV scale. In the comics, the Skrulls infiltrated the Avengers, the X-Men, which for budgetary reasons on a TV show, you're not going to get your
whoops.
For budgetary reasons, the mustache budget was not what it should have been.
I didn't mean
Iger should have gotten that mustache, and then he'd be all, hey, yeah, whatever budget he needs.
That's fantastic. But you're not going to get your A-list actors. You're not going to get Chris Evans. You're not going to get Chris Hemsworth. Right now it seems like aside from Samuel L. Jackson, the big get is Don Cheadle's War Machine. In the comic storyline, kind of the whole shtick was, who can you trust? The Avenger fighting next to you could be a Skrull, could have been a Skrull for years, and you never knew it. Mm-hmm. So, I'm a little concerned that the kind of big reveals aren't going to pack quite as big of a punch on a TV series as they maybe would have in the movies. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, anything Samuel L. Jackson touches is fantastic.
Except snakes on a plane.
I'm going to disagree with you on that.
I'm right there with you, Rich. I disagree too. Everything he touches is pretty much fantastic.
That is a guilty pleasure movie for sure. But
yeah, no, I totally agree. I think my only concern is how much use of flashbacks are they going to need to lean on to pick up that extra, remember when this happened, this is why it's so. If they're very good at why they explain, how it goes and what the order is, and they don't just lean on complete, rehashing of stuff, then yeah, it could be really cool. But it seems like from the trailer, they're going to do a lot of different stuff, a lot of different scene changes, a lot of different moving around. So hopefully it's good.
And to Kyle's point, Marvel's most recent track record is not fantastic. So that's obviously, forefront of, possible, are they going to be able to execute this? And, is it not going to be like the last couple Marvel endeavors that we've received?
Especially being the espionage theme of trying to uncover who is a Skrull, who is an evil Skrull, because there's different variations now. Right. So you get into this
exactly.
How do we do this and not let it become boring and mired in minutia where people are going to get disinterested? But I don't know if they're going to. Yeah, I don't know. It seemed pretty fast paced from the trailer. I mean, granted, you can't tell a lot from the trailer, but it seemed like it was going to be pretty high octane. So
again, cautiously optimistic. I want to believe it's going to be good and Marvel's going to do right by it. But
I would hope so with Nick Fury, especially. Like, yeah, that's not where you drop the ball.
I'm not giving Marvel the automatic pass that I used to anymore. And now they've kind of lost that goodwill. They need to earn it back a little bit.
That's fair. Yep, that's completely fair.
I agree. I mean, I'm interested to see what Emilia Clarke does, what she brings to the table as Abigail.
Really excited to see her back. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
You got Shooter McGavin, Chris McDonald. He's in it.
Yes.
Like
clutching the win.
Yeah, I mean, Shooter McGavin, like, sign me up.
There is an entire litany of people that will go just to see him in his best again.
Yes,
they will.
Absolutely. You got Ben, what's his name? Mendelsohn or whatever the hell his name is. The guy plays Talos.
Talos, yeah. Yep.
What's his name? Mendelsohn?
Yeah, I think you got that
something like that. The guy from, who I'm talking about, from Rogue One and Dark Knight Rises. So I love him. I think he's a perfect villain. Like he's a guy that you just love to hate. So I'm excited for that too. I mean, like Kyle said, like they do kind of owe us a banger, and I think
for sure.
we're gonna get Guardians 3. We're getting Secret Invasion. I think we're starting to turn the corner.
It is Ben Mendelsohn, by the way.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. That's what we all said before AntMan.
Quantumania looked so good.
Trust me, nobody was more let down than I was.
You are correct. Yeah. You are correct. You are the biggest Ant-Man fan I've ever seen. So just being like such a huge Ant-Man fan from the comics, like what do you think just of the Ant-Man portrayal from a Marvel Studios perspective in general with Paul Rudd and what they've done? Because I've enjoyed the first two a lot, especially the first one. I like those two a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think Paul Rudd did a really nice job with the Scott Lang character.
Yeah.
As more of a comic Ant-Man fan, I was more of a fan of the original Ant-Man, who in the comics is Hank Pym.
Hank Pym.
So, you know, in the movies, he's in a much different point in his career. You know, I thought his portrayal by Michael Douglas was really well done. I do enjoy
Michael Douglas.
Yeah, I mean, he's great. And, you know, I did like that mentor dynamic that they had. But, you know, I have no complaints with how Paul Rudd portrayed Scott Lang. I thought he did a good job. I would have, you know, truth be told, I certainly would have preferred a more Hank Pym centric version of Ant-Man in the MCU, but you know, that didn't happen. So Paul Rudd was the next best thing.
Sure. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I think him and Chris Hemsworth, like they seem to bring that, and obviously all of Guardians. A
lot of heavy lifting. They do a lot of it.
Well, you know what it is like they seem to just understand. I don't know if it's the writers or if it's the actors or both. It's probably a combination, but they seem to understand the fine line and the balance between comedy plus action and when to be serious.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes they miss on that. I think they missed big time with Quantumania, where they tried to just force feed that slapstick comedy horse shit, and it just wasn't hitting. Like the jokes didn't land.
Well, and MODOK, the whole MODOK character,
horrible.
Yeah, I mean that was a complete waste of a fantastic Marvel villain.
I mean, I don't think they've done anything good with MODOK in a while when it comes to any kind of cinematic or television. You know, because he had that series,
the animated series, that was weird. It was a
like, what was that?
Family
what were they trying to do?
Comedy. Yeah, it was that was bizarre, which is unfortunate because in the comics, you know, MODOK is one of the Avengers' greatest villains.
You're right.
So they definitely squandered another chance to do something with that character.
Well, they didn't even do anything with him with AIM. Like he was kind of the leader of AIM, was he not?
In the comics, yes.
Yeah. So like, I don't understand. Like, where did they miss there? And I'm almost certain you can confirm better than I can because I know you're a lot more versed with the comic history. But like, what's his name? The Hornet. What the hell is his name? Yellow Jacket.
Yellow Jacket. Yeah.
He was not MODOK in the comics.
No, they were separate characters.
That's all right. Yeah, I mean, they had some misses. Secret Invasion looks promising. Guardians 3, I'm just expecting it to be good because, in my opinion, the Guardians of the Galaxy movies are some of the best in the Marvel franchise. Chris is asking thoughts on, or Techie is asking thoughts on Loki season 2 being delayed or canceled. I actually didn't see that it was canceled. I saw that it was a delay, but they also just confirmed today that Jonathan Majors will return as Kang the Conqueror in Loki season 2. So I'm assuming it was just a logistical issue where they had to delay, whether it was a filming snag or whatever. But I know Jonathan Majors was kind of in the news there for a while with his alleged domestic abuse or whatever. But it looks like that was dropped and that she retracted her statement, and that it didn't actually happen. So delayed until next year. Really, I didn't realize that. Okay, interesting.
It's hard to tell what's being pushed for, like, you know, to catch up essentially from everything that's gone on, or how much of that is like, all right, we have to change an idea and scrap something and start over. Like, I wonder how much of that is left over from the last 2 years.
Well, you know, I think it's interesting too that a lot of the Disney shows, and I think I brought this up last week, the websites that had the Disney like layout with all the shows and the dates that they were coming, all the dates have been removed.
Yeah,
so now it's just the posters of the shows. So it looks like they're reshifting the timeline around a little bit. And I know I had read an article, and again, I didn't know if it was real or if it was April Fool's, but something about Bob Iger saying he wanted to shift all of Marvel away from studios, or the studios away from the TV, and focus more on the cinematics and movies.
Yeah, it sounds like that's the direction they're going, which, you know, I think we talked about Marvel fatigue on a previous episode. I don't necessarily think moving away from TV is a bad idea. I like the idea of a couple series here and there, but I think it was a very high volume of series all at once. I think it was a little bit of an overload, and I think the main MCU movies suffered for it.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're doing some reshuffling. They just had what's his name, Bob Iger or whatever, come back. So like they're gonna be continuing to shuffle things around, and I'm assuming that's why they took down all of the signage with the dates and that sort of thing. But Iger does not like Disney Plus. Becky is correct, but he's gonna have to get on board because.
I mean, it's been incredibly successful for them, and they've done launches, especially during the times when the cinemas weren't available. And be able to launch to Disney. So much revenue. It's got to be a ton of revenue for them.
Yeah, I agree.
And it was important for the people too. I mean, we got to see a lot of movies that kids would have had to wait another, a year to see otherwise. Like, it was important. Disney Plus was huge when it came out, and the timing of it was important.
And speaking of Marvel, one thing I'm really excited for that I'm sure you guys saw also is they hired for the new Fantastic Four movie, Josh Friedman. So everybody's kind of, or Friedman, I don't know how you pronounce it. I call Friedman. Yeah. But he seems to have a lot of respect in the cinema community in general. So like people seem to, I don't know a lot about him. I know obviously a couple of his big movies, but like outside of that, like what are your thoughts? Are you putting stock into that? Like, is that something that you're excited for?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's certainly a big positive for the new Fantastic Four franchise. Okay. He's worked extensively with James Cameron in the past. One of my favorite TV series, Terminator: The Sarah Connor Chronicles, was written and developed by him. A criminally underwatched show that was canceled after 2 seasons. So I was actually pretty excited about that announcement. I think he'll do a good job. Obviously, the writing is only part of the equation. We have to wait and see who's going to direct, who the principal actors are going to be, but certainly a step in the right direction.
I agree. A lot to be excited about and optimistic about, I should say, with Marvel. I was starting to be optimistic about DC when I saw. Did you guys see that for the Batman 2, they are bringing in Clayface in live action?
It's an interesting and bold, I think, choice.
It's either going to make or break with it. I really feel like that's going to be the case. There's no middle of the road when you're trying to do a live action Clayface. It's either going to be amazing or it's going to be terrible.
A lot of people said kind of the same thing when it was revealed that Scarecrow was going to be the villain of Batman Begins. It was a lot of like, oh, well, he's not really, the kind of AAA villain that you'd want to see Batman go against, and I mean that movie's fantastic.
Great.
Yeah, but he still wasn't the AAA villain that we wanted, in my opinion. I thought he did the best he could, but I don't think it came through as well as
the movie didn't need it though. I know you do not like Batman Begins as much as I do.
Love Batman Begins. I genuinely do. I'm a fan of Batman Begins. I am. I love me some Liam Neeson. I love me, what's his name from Peaky Blinders. He's great. The movie was very good.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, thank you. I just think that The Dark Knight Rises, I know that The Dark Knight Rises was just better. That's all.
That being said, I think if done right, I think Clayface will be an intriguing villain.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just curious to see how they're going to portray Clayface on the screen. How much CGI is going to be involved? How much,
and how is the CGI going to look?
Yeah, that's the big concern with it all. It's like it's really a risky move going with a character that's as adaptable and and it has so much different things to it. Now, I will say I love the portrayal of Clayface in the Harley Quinn series, but that's not what we're going to see here. We're not going to get that Clayface. If anybody's familiar with that one,
I just hope we don't get a Clayface that looks like this.
The beauty is Clayface can look like that when he wants to.
Clayface does look like
mold me into whatever you want.
McMahon is Clayface, just with billions of dollars.
Well, he's going to need to do something as semi-retirement.
I just hope they don't put a mustache on Clayface.
I'm just curious to see what origin story they're going to use for Clayface. I'd love to see the animated series origin, where he's the wash-up actor trying to rejuvenate his career. Amazing. That would be so good if they did something like that,
Yeah.
But who knows? I don't know what they're going to do, but
if they can pull it off.
Optimistic.
What was the name of Rich of the villain in Spider-Man Far From Home? The big gold guy, the creature there that fights them.
Gold guy.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Far From Home.
Yeah, the one with Gyllenhaal. He's the big monster guy that's out in like Paris or the UK, wherever they were.
I thought those were like elementals.
Oh yeah. The elementals. Yeah, they were just. I mean, they weren't.
No, but
in the movie, they weren't actual.
If they
villains.
Animate him, no, but you know what I'm saying,
right? That look. Yeah, that look.
If they can pull off Clayface to kind of resemble that and it looks like that from a CGI perspective. Like, I'm good with that.
I could buy that, yeah.
It has to be huge. He can't just be like a dude that's like, just 8 feet tall walking around. He has to be like a force of nature. When he rolls in, it's a problem. Like, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hopefully optimistic about it,
I don't know what to expect with that one.
Yeah, I was getting all hyped, and I'm like, all right, DC. And then I saw the Blue Beetle trailer today, and
I don't know what you have to say about that. I thought it was fantastic. I don't know if anybody else here saw it.
I did watch it. I don't know anything about Blue Beetle, but it looked cool. Like I want to know more about this character because I don't know where this, these superpowers. I don't know anything about Blue Beetle.
I mean, they have superpowers, more of a suit.
It is.
Everyone's saying he's DC Spider-Man.
It's a symbiotic relationship. Okay. It's not even like you can't compare it. It's more like Iron Man than it would be Spider-Man.
All right, so hold on. So Donnelly is the DC mark here. So Tim, clearly you did not care for the trailer. So I want to hear your take because I think you and I are going to have the same take, and that I want to hear Donnelly's rebuttal. I've been waiting to have this conversation all day because I hated it. I thought it was awful, and I wanted to pick Donnelly's brain, but you clearly are.
Yeah, well, I want Donnelly to I want to state my opinion. I want Donnelly to tell me why I'm wrong because I'm probably wrong because I don't know anything about Blue Beetle. Care.
I want to hear because I didn't see anything bad about it, and Dan, who's unfamiliar with the character, it sounds like you saw the trailer and didn't see what's so bad.
No, I just looked like they were setting up a new character. They're like, oh, we're going to explain what their powers are and what their background is. But like, they were basically just showing this is what the visage of the character looks like. And that was essentially all you got, really.
You know what it is? It reminds me. So first of all, what's his name? The actor from Cobra Kai. Love that kid. Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't want him to be a superhero. Like, really? I want him to be the one who can't stand up and has to relearn how to walk and be the nerd that gets picked on and learns karate and has the overcoming adversity story. That's cool. But I guess for me, first of all, the whole I'm a kid and I found this thing and now it sticks on me. And now, I have this power now. I got to figure it out. It's so friggin' played out at this point. We're like, I got bit by a spider. Oh, now I can shoot webs out of my penis. There's just so many things.
That'd be a very different one.
It's just, I don't know. It just feels like it's been played out. And it feels like, first of all, the design of the suit is the shittiest thing I've ever seen in my life. It looks horrible. It's the yellow jacket. So cool. It's the yellow jacket crossed with the Iron Man suit from Endgame, spray painted blue with a child inside of it that has no idea what he's doing. That's what that is. And secondly, the trailer looks like a Miss Marvel trailer. It just reminded me of Miss Marvel
It looks like a TV show trailer.
It looks horrible. There's nothing about that movie nothing about that trailer that made me go, ooh, I want to see what happens there. I need to see that out. It just looked cheesy, super cheesy. The CGI looked like shit, which doesn't give me high hopes on Clayface, which I'm really hoping he does. I hope I'm wrong. But it's just a story that I've seen too many times where a kid comes into some kind of power or suit and then is trying to figure it out. It just, I don't need that anymore. That's not a superhero to me.
There's a lot of retread tropes. Like, he takes a suit, he goes into space and starts, falling back down to earth. We saw that in Iron Man 1. In my eyes, it looked like they took Iron Man and Spider-Man, mashed them together, and like you said, just spray painted the suit blue. Again, I am not familiar with the character in the comics, and I'm speaking strictly about the trailer.
Sure.
I didn't think it looked good. To your point, Tim, it looks like a storyline that we've seen countless times in the past 20 years.
And I mean, and it is a storyline that you've seen countless times, a lot of, so the Blue Beetle came about around the time of when DC was looking to get into more diversity. They were introducing more, cultural based characters. So the Blue Beetle is obviously, like Latino in some ways, South American, Central American, somewhere around there from descent. And with that, they were trying to tap into that. He came about when the Teen Titans were really big. And he was even a member of Teen Titans and Young Justice and things like that. So that's why, that he is a kid, because that was a really big thing. And that's what DC was trying to attack during the time when it came out.
Awful. It looks so stupid.
It looks spot on to what the animated character in Young Justice looked like. It looks a lot like the modern comics with Blue Beetle in it. The thing about it is, that's the, the comic image of him.
It looks like a blue spray painted Spawn. That's a pussy version.
The thing about the suit is it's a symbiotic relationship with the parasite. He cannot remove that thing. It will not come off by any means until he dies. That's how it goes from one host to the next.
We've been there, done that.
Like
Venom. Well, yeah. I mean, they're not rewriting anything brand new here, but that's it's the same idea as like a Venom, right? So, with that being said, though, is he's got it's all alien tech, just like Venom, but the thing is that just because Marvel's already done it doesn't mean that DC isn't going to take one of their tried and true characters that a lot of big DC fans know and have been waiting for this. I heard some reviews out there, people reactions and stuff that were comparing it over to being similar to like this could be DC's Black Panther is what they're saying. I don't think it's going to do that. But there are people out there who are saying that. Again, I don't agree with that statement, but there are people out there who are saying that. And, if that comes to be, maybe. But in any event, I'm looking forward to it. I don't think the trailer was that bad. I think that, we'll have to wait and see what the movie delivers, because the trailer, you can't tell everything by the trailer. And I got to say, I got chills when I saw him, the symbiote speaks to him inside of his head while it's attached to him, So when the Beetle, the Scarab, as they call it, is attached to him, he says to him, I can make anything that you can think, type of thing. And he pulls out the Buster Sword style from like Final Fantasy VII.
So I'm glad someone else caught that. I was going to say it's the one part of the trailer that I liked. He did the Cloud victory dance.
Yes. And, it's doing something like that was awesome. It literally, I was like, whoa, that's so cool. But, little subtle Easter eggs were in there for DC fans. Like Big Belly Burger is a huge fast food franchise that exists in the DC universe, and it's mentioned in so many of their storylines.
You hear a ton of it in the Flash. They're always going on.
Yep,
you're not able to run anymore.
Belly burger. So when James Gunn and
is that like the Big Kahuna Burger of the Quentin Tarantino verse?
Exactly.
Exactly. Yes.
Or the movies of Clerks.
Right. So they're trying to put that together and create that coherent system of one universe, and I can see it happening with this. So,
and just to be clear, this is not the version of the character that gets shot in the head, correct?
I don't.
Wasn't it the first or second Blue Beetle?
Oh, yes. No. This isn't. Yes. Okay. Yep. No, this is the second Blue Beetle. Yes, because in the trailer they showed Susan Sarandon. And her character is not a comic-based character, but her character, to my understanding from what I've looked into, is the sister of that Blue Beetle. I forget what his name is, but yes, and that's why she's like, it may have chosen you, but it's mine. She says in the trailer, and where that comes from is because it had chosen her brother initially, and then after his death, she had acquired it, but it wouldn't create a symbiotic relationship with her.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of like when these come out, like, because I don't know these characters, so like I kind of like going in completely blind on everything and just seeing like what is this thing, and just seeing it as it was intended, because I don't have any of that. I don't have any Blue Beetle comic book knowledge to be like, oh, I wish they went this way. I wish they went that way. Like, so I kind of get what I get, you know.
And they're doing a lot differently. Like the Blue Beetle's family is not in the comics really. Like he's kind of like an orphan almost. And you never see anything from his family. So seeing like George Lopez there is a big support for it all. It's something that I'm interested in seeing how they're gonna kind of take the original Blue Beetle story and shift it around a little bit.
Dan, you said something I couldn't agree with more. You said you like going into a movie like this blind.
Yeah,
this is one of the few movies that I'd love to go into the movie theater and be blind for.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing no research on it. Like, I want to see the trailer. I'm not going to watch any more reveals or trailers. I'm just going to go in and be like, "What is?"
No, I mean literally, I don't have eyesight.
Scare him.
Like, I don't want to have eyesight when I see this.
Oh, you're going the other way.
Tim's just looking for something to hate on. He just feels like drinking that haterade tonight.
Haterade, man.
I have to on something. But
yeah, it wouldn't be an episode without.
It wouldn't. I got
Jackie in the chat makes a good point. He says, "I knew nothing about Moon Knight going in. I was the same way. I had never even heard of Moon Knight before that came out."
Rich and I were sharing back and forth some like Moon Knight figures long before that show came out. So we had he had more. He knows more about Moon Knight than I did. But yeah, it was well done. I actually enjoyed that series.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with going in live and seeing it for the first time.
Yep. What you snacking on there? Is that a Ritz? Is that a Ritz peanut butter sandwich?
I hate to do this while we're streaming.
Oh, some Entenmann's.
The Ent is near.
I needed something. This Blue Beetle shit was putting me in a coma.
Wow.
So I gotta get some sugar.
Yeah, your foot's gonna be a Blue Beetle.
My foot's
diabetes.
What's going on?
I'd watch a movie called Diabetes.
Yeah, you get Blue Beetle toe.
Yep.
Make sure you check your blood sugar and check it often.
So I know we probably have to do the ranking soon, but I did want to bring this up. Just announced today that Legendary Entertainment has obtained the rights to Street Fighter movies and TV, and there is a movie in production.
Oh, man.
And they will be working closely with Capcom to develop any future movies and TV series.
They've just better.
No additional details. That's pretty much, it was just a quick press release, and that was it. I wanted to mention that because I'm a huge Street Fighter fan.
I'm glad they're sticking with Capcom because they can get a lot of consulting, and hopefully they use that and not just put that as a name. Like, just
super excited.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that they do keep that as a tight-knit relationship with Capcom, and Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's all I'm going to say there.
I hope he has a cameo. I really do.
They got to.
I really hope he does.
Speaking of Street Fighter, I have never wanted to collect a figure line more in my life than the Storm Collectibles Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat figures. Have you seen these, Rich? Have you seen these guys?
I have not, actually.
Those are so good.
They are absolutely spectacular. They are so expensive, though.
The details in the face is remarkable.
Like
the expressions.
What is that, like an $80 figure?
More. I think they're 100 out of the gate. But to get the ones that are to get them after they've been released, they're like 150 to so for instance, Goro from Mortal Kombat.
The
Goro version sells for $400 just for that one figure to try to get it now.
The subterranean King Goro.
Dude, they had there was some
look amazing.
Yes, they do look amazing. And they're huge. They're 7-inch scale, so they're in scale with like NECA and Super 7. Excuse me.
You need to stop showing me this shit, man.
Dude, they look so good. The Mortal Kombat figures are honestly even better.
I was always more into Mortal Kombat than Street Fighter, so
me too.
I'm gonna have to go check those out because I love the Mortal Kombat art.
Oh, dude, you and Becky do not want to start looking at these because whatever raise she just got will be out the window. And
I was gonna say we have the Simpsons ones; they're not even on display yet. Shao Kahn, Goro. Oh, Mataro.
And don't even do it justice because
I want Mataro.
They're 7-inch scale, right? So they're
does the Shao Kahn come with the throne?
Yes, he does. And the Shao Kahn came out at $129, I believe, and now sells for like $250.
Okay, or
maybe more. But Reptile, for instance.
Oh wow! You're gonna need to give me a larger view of that one.
That's good.
They are. I'm just kind of scrolling through here.
They're double jointed too in the elbows.
Dude, they are the
how many
most
points of
disposable
participation are there
artists.
on
So this
these
is
things?
somebody's Street Fighter display here. Okay, this
Look
is
at
on
Raiden.
somebody's shelf.
Oh my god!
Or
They even have Air
Mortal
Mac,
Kombat, not Street
Air Mac.
Fighter. But yeah, like
Oh, that's so good.
how amazing is that? So when I say 7-inch scale, so the ninjas are kind of the 7-inch scale. Goro is like 10 inches. Shao Kahn's like 9 inches. Like, so they're all scaled appropriately. But look at the color and
look at the lightning for Raiden. That's amazing.
They're amazing.
All of the accessories and attachments, they look incredible.
Smoke
They
actually has
are
smoke on
amazing.
it. Yeah, that's amazing.
Scorpion's got his spear.
Smoke vapes, but that's still cool. He's still doing it.
Like they come with.
I was always a big Reptile fan.
Reptile was my OG
Reptile
favorite.
with the
yeah.
acid
I love
spit.
Reptile.
Yeah.
Yep.
Scorpion was solid too, but Reptile.
Yeah. So that's something I've been battling with.
Yeah, those are pretty fantastic.
Not opening the floodgates on collecting those because I like feel like I need every one of them, but I can't.
What you do is in the morning you get your coffee, you open your browser, you see someone's launched a new line, and then you just take your credit card and you slide it into the fridge. You're just like whip, and then you're like, hey, problem solved. I'm good. No temptation.
Yeah, until everything saves your payment now, so that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, flash forward 10 seconds. You got a code hang. You're just digging it out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm. The figures are just getting too good, and I can't collect everything.
No,
and they're getting more expensive.
I go back and forth. Ashley's good bagel cookies and chess. She kind of, I'll throw things out there to her. I'm like, like over the weekend, my new thing was like, I kind of want to put my wrestling figures back out on display and start collecting wrestling figures again. It's like I go on these little kicks where I'm like, oh, maybe I want to do this, and then she's usually talks me out of it.
You are the most indecisive collector I have ever known.
So I'm decisive on certain things.
I'm being indecisive.
You're not.
I don't know how many conversations we've had over the years about Marvel Legends. Yeah, versus comic versus MCU figures.
Yeah, I've settled on those
for now until you haven't.
That's true.
Into and
Black
out of
series, but like
I know it. Before you were around, I was the one he texted and bounced ideas off of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got some issues over here, but
we all have our collecting sponsors we have to call, and
there's a few things I've never swayed on. So one has been Turtles. Period.
And your turtle collection is
timeless,
fantastic.
Ninja Turtles. I have never swayed on. Ghostbusters. I've never gotten rid of or even thought about swapping those out, taking them down. Nothing. And honestly, like Marvel has always had some sort of presence. I've just swayed on which ones because it's such a diverse universe. First of all, just the Marvel universe in general, and Kyle knows hours of my life I'll never get back talking about collecting ideas.
One of these episodes we need to talk just about your backdrops.
Oh god,
what a shit show those are.
I should just take a picture of the pile of them in my garage, and it's appalling.
There's a dude in England right now who's just having a big old merry laugh.
Merry old laugh and merry old.
He is, and it's when I found out what they actually cost to do on signs.com, where he was getting them from, compared to what he was charging.
Oh man!
Well, we all had a big old laugh. I had a big old cry too in the dark corner with these donuts. Just
these will never lie to me.
Yeah, they don't lie to me.
They don't. They're up front. Entenmann's ain't nothing more, no nothing less. Exactly.
We got some good stuff in the theaters. We've got Super Mario coming out on Wednesday. Yeah. I cannot wait. I'm taking my boys.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm taking my boys to see Super Mario on Wednesday. I cannot wait. Yes. It's for them, but it's for me.
Yeah, it's for me.
I think it's nice little kind of tap into both worlds. They're getting the modern day kids and everything like that, but a lot of people our age are really looking forward to it just the same.
Yeah,
I'm a little surprised that they put Luigi seems to be the person in trouble here.
That's what it seems, but we don't know yet.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to tell where they're going to go because we don't know what the pacing, the order they show us things in. We have no idea. So it's
You see the Magic the Gathering Street Fighter Secret Lair release cards? I have. Didn't they also do Transformers ones? You'll have to let me know, Mushroom Man. But Pretty sure they did a Transformers crossover into Magic the Gathering also.
I believe they did. I'm definitely a little out of the Magic the Gathering loop, though.
What we need to do is we need to get together, all four of us, for the next time we get together. We try to get together like at least once a month. We ought to have a Magic night, and we'll stream it.
Yeah. Oh, I totally be down for that. Playing some Magic for a couple hours on stream.
And no one will have any idea what the hell is going on. I'll never. Was at Dan's house, and his wife Becky. Dan and I are playing one-on-one, and Dan read his card, and he's like, "No, that gets +1/+1. That gets a +1/+1 counter because it has haste, and I control a wizard." as Becky was walking by, she's like,
I might as well dramatically remove my glasses. Like, let's not forget the wizard, Mister.
I'll be sure to bring my Black Lotus.
Yeah,
she's like, that's the nerdiest shit I've ever.
The printer just turned on and divorce papers came out. They hit the floor, they slid over to me. I'm like, I know. Now she plays too. She's no better than us.
It's true, but that in that moment, the look on her face was
she's like, I cannot believe it.
Yeah,
you friggin' wizard. You're wizard Harry.
Bounced my human.
You bounced me. Dude, it's the best. It's the best game. It's the best tabletop game ever made.
It is the best tabletop game ever made. They're doing a big Lord of the Rings set coming out also this year. Interesting.
I'm excited.
I don't know how I feel about the crossover. I
mean, with Hasbro, they gotta
Hasbro love
everything they can.
I mean, as far as crossovers go, Lord of the Rings certainly makes more sense than Transformers.
Agreed. Yeah.
Unless you're talking like,
and I'm huge Transformer fan.
You?
Oh, we also have to talk about E3. Unfortunately, not in a good way.
Go ahead.
E3 has been canceled.
Yeah,
for the year.
Probably for life.
I feel.
I don't know if it's going to come back.
I don't think it's for life.
Do we care though?
Kind of.
I mean, if you have wares to peddle, you do.
I mean, the name of this podcast is Nerdstalgia. I mean,
I know,
E3 is definitely a nostalgia kind of event. I don't know. I remember being super excited for E3 weekend. That was when all of the developers and
that's when you used to get all your drops. Like you didn't get them like every month.
You were waiting for that megaton announcement. When was the next killer app dropping? The next Halo or Destiny or.
I remember being super excited for when PlayStation 2 came out too, and that was a long time ago. I feel like I haven't seen an E3 conference in years. Like the fact that this was news, I was shocked because I haven't paid attention to an E3 in God knows how long. I didn't even know they were still doing
it. The thing is now, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, they all do their own thing. They all have their own, semi-regular shows that have kind of supplanted E3, making it kind of archaic, which is unfortunate because again, it was, kind of like San Diego Comic-Con. That 1 weekend, all of the big news is going to hit. Yeah, that was the same thing with E3 with video games.
Well, I want to be
weekend,
clear.
You knew all of the big news, all of those games that you've been waiting for years. You're gonna, get the big announcements, or you're gonna get a new trailer. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of excitement behind it.
I want to be clear. I'm not knocking E3. E3 was fantastic. What I'm saying is, like, I feel like I haven't actually seen an E3 done in. I don't remember the last one.
Well, this was going to be the first since pre-pandemic.
Yes.
Okay. So
that's why it was.
But even before COVID, like the E3s felt lackluster. I remember watching a couple of them years back, and it didn't have that same, like, we're in a different era right now.
Sure.
It's lost its punch, and there's no physical games anymore. I mean, there is, but like most people download digitally unless you're a collector. I download all my games digitally.
Yeah, I'll die before I give up physical games.
I agree.
Well, yeah,
I think the resurgence.
But like, I can't be bothered to get off my couch when I want to switch from Super Smash Brothers to Mario Kart. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to stand up.
I like my cartridges.
I love them.
I mean, I think the resurgence
now,
of it.
Now it's like, what are we doing here? They're just discs. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't.
We're just eating more donuts.
Yeah, right. But back to
just discs, man.
This is what I'm going to miss, and I hope the E3 does come back, because what I miss is the actual hands-on reviews.
Yeah,
a lot of the products coming out. I miss that, getting the press in there and getting the public in there for people to actually like get their hands on some of these new products before they launch. Like, we're not going to have that anymore if they cancel it altogether.
I mean, we probably could have gotten press passes.
Who knows? Maybe. I would love to take a trip to Vegas to go to something like that. You know what I mean?
I mean, we're press, right? This is considered some kind of
journalism, right? And they have Krispy Kreme out in Vegas too. You can get them fresh off the
Entenmann's or Krispy Kreme, Tim.
Entenmann's small enough.
So that's I have to give you a specific answer. Krispy Kreme, if it's fresh off the conveyor. Entenmann's when it's in a box. Like, if I'm reaching in my cabinet to grab like a donut that's room temperature that's been sitting for a couple of days, it's got
can't tell if it's old or because it was shitty to begin
temperature.
Entenmann's has a shelf life of about 20 years.
Exactly. This is made with such trash ingredients that it's meant to sit.
Box he's consuming right now is probably made in 1987.
I thought you were going to say the box has more nutrition inside of it than the donut.
If I'm lucky. I just bought this box. I don't want to tell you how many are left.
I do want to say that I respect how you open that box and you follow the directions by popping the sides in to lift it open.
Pop the side, lift here.
Just like Grandma used to.
It's perfect. But yeah, we're doing okay.
We're doing okay.
That box was open 20 minutes ago.
I will say it was just open when I left the screen. No, it wasn't.
It was.
No, it wasn't.
No, I agree where like the E3 needs to find its own a new vein. It needs to lean into VR stuff, like VR tech, big things that you show off. Like, do you remember when they had those running treadmills on it for VR? You would
treadmills?
They had those for like you would actually run, like it was real VR.
Yeah, you were tethered to like the wall of the treadmill and you can go any direction.
It was as close to the Matrix as we were going to get this decade. And like they need to show that stuff off at places like that, less of just like debuting games. Like, we can debut a game in our underwear on YouTube. Right. Like, show me something, show me hardware, show me performance, show me they need to lean into that. And I think Microsoft, Nintendo, and Ubisoft pulled out, and they say that it changed. Their timelines were changed. They didn't have anything to show, basically, is what they're saying. Like, we didn't have enough to bring and show off.
Which is like bullshit.
I think it is personally. Like, they're saying
they're all saving it for their own.
Right. Yes.
I think Nintendo Direct will have an excuse for the most part. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like the ESA president, Stanley Pierre Louise, he changed the timeline. He says basically, for COVID reasons, but like, we don't know. I mean, we will never know. So, unfortunately, that's not happening this year.
No top 10 lists of the weirdest products at E3 this year. That was another thing I looked forward to every year.
Yeah. Emoji glasses. I don't know what those are, but we're going to put them on and find out. They give me pink eye. That's what they do. That's what that app does.
This took a turn.
It did. We went from Marvel to DC to donuts to treadmills to E3. Now we're going back. So we talked a lot about Marvel and DC. Obviously, I've confessed a lot of my love for like things like Blue Beetle and what DC are doing. So piggybacking off of that, I mean, the only DC that really matters, in my opinion, is Batman, because it's like the one thing that DC hasn't screwed up. They've almost screwed up quite a few times. Batman.
It's not for lack of trying, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Batman and Robin, bit of a letdown. Batman versus Superman, bit of a letdown. Justice League, not wonderful, but for the most part, they've gotten Batman right. And these are just my opinions. They're not. It's not that they mean anything outside of, just being the correct ones. But that being said, along the lines of Batman and in that Batman vein, we thought it would be fun for us to do our rankings tonight centered around the best portrayals of Batman. This can be animated. This can be live action. But we want to give you our top 3 Batman and who portrayed them of all time. These are our personal lists. These are not the best of all time. These are our personal favorites. And as always, sound off in the comments and let us know who you agree with, who you disagree with, and who your favorites are. Let's start in descending order as always. Top 3 Batman portrayals of all time. We are going to start with you, Daniel.
All right. So for number 3, I had to go, because I raked it so high, I got to go Kevin Conroy for the animated Batman. as the voice actor. I mean, his voice that night, that you know, the original not the original, the Batman cartoon that I spent the most time with, I heard his voice the most, and that was kind of, you know, I got to give him number 3.
I respect it. Yep. Rich, number 3.
Val Kilmer.
Nice. I'm so glad to hear it.
I wonder if we have the same list.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Batman Forever is so underappreciated.
I agree.
I mean, I know it's, you know, a little schlocky, but it's a fantastic movie, and you know, Val Kilmer is one of the reasons why it is and why it works so well. So yeah, Val Kilmer, number 3.
And they did a phenomenal job on his suit, on his bat suit. Like they even put rubber. They rubber nipple casted him.
The Batmobile from Batman Forever. People forget that car was insane. And just because we're going to talk about this,
all the hardware,
I want you guys to know my number 3 is also Val Kilmer.
Hell yeah.
But we're going to go Batman Forever Batmobile. I feel like people forgot what this thing looks like. It
one of the best Batmobiles.
Insane.
Yeah, it was like all the stuff they had. Like I remember even like his batarangs, like his grappling, everything was super heavy.
He had a lot of cool gear.
And the production value, like they put a lot of time into that.
That should be a top 3 one of these weeks.
Batmobiles,
yeah.
The best Batmobile portrayals.
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. But yeah, that's not a great. I can't find a great photo of it.
But it has that blue cool glow.
That's
to
what
it. Like,
really got me with it was the blue glow that it had.
Yeah,
airing down the streets of Gotham City with that blue glow streaking through. So cool.
Now, when I was an adult, I look at that and the amount of
Kyle's suggesting that there may be a snuff film
I read that
of Batman Forever out there.
I did read that. It's they called it the something cut. The director's name, I can't remember his name. Donnelly, do you know?
No, I don't know offhand.
There is one. So I read an article that does exist. That is a real thing. That's not Kyle.
It's not an urban legend.
It's not an urban legend.
That was Joel Schumacher.
Yes, the Schumacher cut. Yes.
He was famous.
That's what they were calling it, was the Schumacher cut. No, I can get behind the Schumacher cut before I get behind the Schneider cut. But number 3. So far we've got Kevin Conroy, 2 votes for Val Kilmer, and number 3, Donnelly.
Number 3 is from the animated series Batman: The Brave and the Bold, and that would be Diedrich Bader.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yes. I think that, you know, it's funny you brought up earlier how Marvel has been lately struggling to capture that fine line of comedy, seriousness, and action all in one. And that's why I put Diedrich Bader at my number 3, because somehow he had that goofiness of the old Adam West Batman. But
didn't he do the Justice League Unlimited too? Didn't he do Justice League Unlimited?
I don't think so.
Was that Conroy?
Let's see here. I'm looking at it. Yes. So hold on. We got Justice League Comic Chaos in 2023. We've got this
Diedrich Bader.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, his ability to walk that fine line, to have the comedy when it was necessary and be able to sell it like that, but then turn serious in a moment and really get into the action, you know, definitely killed it as Batman. And I think he's very underappreciated.
I love it. That, I'll be honest, I never even considered him, but I respect the hell out of that.
Yep.
Number 2, Dan.
Michael Keaton. Going Michael Keaton. He's Michael Keaton.
Yeah, and it's fitting. It's fitting too. Michael Keaton making his little resurgence here in many ways, and you got to.
I had him moved around a lot, you know, but yeah, I'm gonna put him at number 2. I think.
Yep. Awesome, Rich. Number 2.
I also had Michael Keaton at number 2.
I wish I knew that we were just going to all have the same list here. But I have Michael Keaton at number 2 as well. And remember, I was very specific. I was very specific in my instructions to everybody when we did this. That
it was a little aggressive, actually.
The top 3 Batman, not Bruce Wayne. Batman. And that's why I went with Michael Keaton at 2, and I'm assuming that's why you did too. I'm not saying Michael Keaton was a bad Bruce Wayne.
Sure.
But there were better Bruce Waynes than Michael Keaton, but as Batman, Keaton absolutely locked into that number 2 spot. You could say number 1 and I wouldn't argue. But Donnelly, number 2.
My number 2, and I took that very much to heart, my list of favorite Batmans. And I thought as the most recent Batman, he absolutely crushed it and really solidified what I like to see as the future of Batman. And that was Robert Pattinson.
Oh, yeah.
All
right.
There was a lot of complaints out there about his Bruce Wayne. I know Tim's not a fan of his Bruce Wayne. I thought it was fitting for like a year one type of image, but his Batman was so good.
Yep.
I agree with that.
He was that unpredictable Batman.
Yeah,
They were afraid because they didn't know if he was going to whip out a gun and shoot him or just break their legs or just they didn't know what he was going to do. Yeah,
that tough, that aggression, that kind of unchained, ness about him.
Yeah.
What I liked about
more
it
akin to the games. The vibe is more akin to the games for him.
The fighting. There was no music or excess sound effects during the fights. It was a lot of like you heard every punch, you heard every kick. It felt real. Pattinson absolutely did a fantastic job. Pattinson did not make my list, but don't get it twisted. I love Robert Pattinson as Batman, and I think Robert Pattinson did a great job as Bruce Wayne for the Bruce Wayne that they were trying to depict.
The quiet.
Bruce Wayne's just not my Bruce Wayne. That's not my favorite.
Still hung up on the death of his parents, not knowing where his place was in the world or with Wayne Tech and all that stuff. So
can somebody get a clip of Tim just saying "I love Robert Pattinson" and just put it on loop? Is it Swanton?
We'll make that into a minute long short of him just repeating it over and over.
I love Robert Pattinson.
I don't hate Robert Pattinson. I was talking him up when he got cast to be Batman, if you all remember, and everyone.
As soon as I saw the Lighthouse, I was like, he can do whatever he wants.
Oh, the Lighthouse.
Lighthouse was great.
That was it. That for me, that was the movie where I was like, yes, whatever.
He proved himself there. I agree.
Yeah. We got some respect out there, Donnelly. Yes. Tyler, respect. I did like Pattinson more than expected. And I'll be honest, I think a lot of people did. I think even the people that wanted expectations. He did a great job. So I respect the hell out of that. We are now on to Jesus. Ashley.
Coveted.
Surprisingly enough, that
is amazing.
Best comment of the night.
Oh my God. Oh boy.
Just incriminates himself at night.
That is
no way to segue that one.
I'm so happy about that.
Jeez. Dan, bring us home with your number one Batman ever.
For Batman, it's Christian Bale, 100%. He's my favorite. He's my favorite Batman. Yeah.
It's funny,
and that might change in time. I need to see more from Pattinson and all that, but like for what I have currently, Christian Bale is the best bang for my buck right there.
So, while I agree that Christian Bale's Batman movies might have been top tier, and I agree that Christian Bale. Here's the deal. I'm going to say it right now. Christian Bale is the best Bruce Wayne that we've gotten in any form.
He's in
animated or live action. No one's better than Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne. Anyone want to argue with me on that?
Well, that could be another top three. In fact, I think going forward, we only do Batman top threes. One week best Bruce Wayne, next week best Batmobile, next week best Batwing.
As Batman
family. No, we can't do the best Batwing because Tim's gonna put a picture up of the movie Waiting doing the Batwing.
Oh, I'll just do the Batwing.
Or he'll just do the Batwing rating,
and then we'll get kicked off.
I hate that you planted that seed.
Yeah.
Now I can't get it out of my head.
I love when Luis Guzman is explaining it, and he's like, "What you do is you take the skin from your nuts and you hold it tight like paper." But that being said, all I was getting at was that Jesus Christ, what is happening?
We're Batwinging it.
We are Batwinging it. I'm Batwinging it. It's hot in here.
It's all good. You get the donuts coursing through your blood.
Best Bruce Wayne. I think Christian Bale was a horrible Batman. Sorry.
It's hard to get past the bat voice.
Rich.
Yes, that's what I was going to say, Rich. It's the Batman. I can't even, it's so bad.
Worthy. So, Rich, number one.
My number one is Kevin Conroy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Rich, we have the exact same top
dude.
three.
He is the Batman of my youth.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really, that's it. I mean, as much as I love Keaton, I mean, he was in 2 movies, Kevin Conroy, I mean, he was Batman from the early 90s until, his untimely passing, just a few months ago.
Right.
Yeah.
In November.
And a great
Batman,
guy,
the
really awesome
animated series, the Arkham video games, and one of my personal all-time favorite Batman movies, Mask of the Phantasm.
Yes.
Another woefully underrated movie. If you have not seen Mask of the Phantasm, go see it now.
Listen, you took all the words out of my mouth. I really was hoping for some diversity. Donnelly, I think it was you that called it. You're like, we're going to have a lot of overlap. I'm like, we will, but we won't. I figured everyone was going to be on what's
Clooney?
his name? No, not Clooney. On Christian Bale. I thought everyone was going to be on Christian Bale's dick. I am not. I love those movies, but he's not the best Batman. I did not expect to have the same exact list as Rich. I really enjoy arguing with you, Rich, a lot.
I know you do.
And we didn't get to.
We do it so well.
I know, and we didn't get to do it. But Kevin Conroy, when I think Batman, and I don't care, and it's not just him as the voice actor. When I think Batman, I picture the Batman from the Batman animated series. That is the first association I have with the word Batman. That's the first picture in my head. And that's where it starts. Let alone the fact that that voice is spectacular and so well done for so many years. Couple that with the fact that he also voiced, as Rich said, the video games, Arkham Asylum.
Right.
That voice is synonymous with Batman. And he was an absolute stand-up individual. What he did for the community, just the comic book community, the action figure collectors community, video game community, the nerd community, everything that we are all a part of, he was a stand-up guy. When it came to signings, when it came to photo ops, all of it, he was there for all of it up until his last breath, basically. He was going to these events and meeting with his fans and was always appreciative. He was a stand-up guy. And he's the best Batman by far. I couldn't agree more. And I'm excited. I have a feeling, Donnelly's nodding a lot. I have a feeling your number one is the same, but I'm curious.
No, it is. It definitely is. It's the same thing for the same reasons you just said. He was my first on-screen introduction to Batman. I'd always be locked in. When I think Batman, I think of him standing at the top of the building with the lightning cracking behind him, with the intro and
with the visage.
Yeah. So definitely Kevin Conroy earns top spot for me too.
I'm so happy that I wasn't the only one that had him in the top spot.
No, you were not. And I hate that we had the same list, though, Rich. I really wanted to fight you on something. But that's Batman.
Yes, that's the exact image that I see in my head when I think Batman.
And the music and that show still holds up. God, it's the best.
It was one of the few shows that leaned more heavily on audio than it did on the animation production. And it was all about the Foley work, the dialogue, the voice acting, everything was up to 11. Whereas other things, went more like the flashy route, like X-Men, and it was just a different result. But yeah, it was a really artistically done show.
And then into Batman Beyond. I mean, those shows were fantastic.
Yeah, big fan of Batman Beyond too. That was a good one.
I agree. I love Justice League Unlimited, which was also Kevin Conroy, by the way. I watched that last year with the kids, and I hadn't really remembered watching much of that, but I enjoyed it. It is really good. It's great story, great action sequences. I really liked it. It was well done. But that being said, I mean, this definitely turned a lot into a Batman and Marvel conversation, which is fine. Those are two hot topics right now. There's a lot going on in those two worlds. Obviously, the four of us are big fans of those. Anything that you guys want to hear, whether it's you want us to rank and talk about, anything you guys want us to cover in the coming weeks, let us know. Definitely, for those of you who are here watching live, we appreciate it. You just being here helps us out a lot. What helps us out even more is hitting that thumbs up button. Liking the stream right now would help us a ton. So if you don't mind, hit that thumbs up icon. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're going to start to pump out more content. So you're going to see videos. We've got more ranking videos. We've got movie reviews. trailer reactions, Donnelly's 3D prints, Twitch streams. We have so much on the docket, and we want your feedback. So if there's things that you want us to do, content that you want to see, sound off in the comments on our YouTube channel, and also join our Facebook group if you're not already there. But any final thoughts from all of you before we wrap this thing up?
I just wanted to, I was thinking about this earlier today.
Yeah.
And, during the day when you're standing outside, the sun casts a shadow upon you. Yeah. But at night, it's the ground casting its shadow upon you.
I don't know. I've never been outside that long to wonder.
That's something to think about. I'm going to be thinking about that all night.
Just standing staring at the moon. I see the moon.
Yeah, smash that like top 3 gas station donuts. Interesting. I like where your head's at.
That could be fun.
But that being said, I don't want to belabor. Any final thoughts from you, Dan or Rich?
Enjoying the nice weather coming up, and stay tuned on the channel. I'm gonna have some announcements coming up in the future. There's been a lot going on just at home, so I've been a little bit delayed, but we'll get that out as soon as possible. So stay tuned, and thanks again for coming.
Rich,
I will see everyone next week.
Hell yeah!
Have a good rest of your week.
Listen, guys, thanks again for tuning in. Again, do all those things, helps us out a ton.
Yes.
Main thing is, biggest takeaway, join the Facebook group. That's the most fun. That's the most interactive. And that's where we want to get your feedback for the channel.
Take the gloves off a little bit.
Take the gloves off a little bit and jump in there. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. For Donnelly, for Dan, for Rich, I am Tim. This is Nerdstalgia Live every Monday night right here on YouTube Live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all and have a great night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.